Happy Halloween and happy Facebook Live time. Because it's Halloween, I might end up being here all by my lonesome. And that's cool. If that's the case, I hope you will be coming back and seeing this on the replay. I do have a bunch of announcements today and also some really fun projects. The projects are featuring the press and seal technique, if you are familiar with that. I've been playing with it for a while, so excited to share it. Hi, Sally. Yay, I'm not alone. I see people joining in. There's some other people on there. I have not seen your name, but that's okay. Welcome. Thanks for being here. So again, I have some announcements and projects, and so without further ado, I'm going to jump right into the announcements. Hi, Kathy. Happy Halloween to you, too. Hopefully the door won't be ringing. Now, it's raining here, so I have a feeling that Halloween's going to get postponed till maybe tomorrow night in my neighborhood, but we'll see. Hi, Lorley. Welcome. Oh, I just realized. There's something I wanted to share. Where is it? Oh, no. Okay, I might have to do that later. We'll see. Okay, so announcements for today. Hi, Wendy. Good to see you. Pam. People are arriving. It's so fun. Okay, so launch into the announcements. Stamp and Storage is doing a sale today, 20% off, magnet cards and the Stamp and Die bundle. So you guys may know what the magnet cards are. I use my magnet cards with my dies. This is an example. This is what we're using today. I love my magnet cards. Great way to keep all my wafer thin dies organized. So that is a 20% off sale. I will put the link in the description for the Facebook video and the YouTube video because I'll post this to YouTube later. So you can go to that link, and if you use that link, I am an affiliate of Stamp and Storage. I love their products, and so when you use that link, I get a little commission on the sale. So I appreciate your support of my business if you use that link. So now the Stamp and Die bundles are not something I bought, but they're a really cool product because it's like basically a stamp case that has a magnet card and has your dies in it and your stamp set. So it's really cool. I took a look at it on the site. Like I said, I haven't gotten any myself, but they look really cool. So just another thing to check out. Okay, quick update on my technique classes. I have a technique class that's launching this month, and I know today is the last day. Some of you on here have signed up for that technique class, including some of my team members, and I'm a little bit behind, but I'm getting there. Creating these classes are sort of a passion for me. I love it. I love the material and content that I'm providing, so I kind of throw myself into it sort of wholeheartedly. So just to give you an idea for the class, the cotton candy class, that is the October technique class, I have videotaped 19 videos. 19. Now that's going to get distilled down to one. Some of those little snippets of videos are a minute long and some are 25 minutes long. So it's a lot of work to put together the class, but I just love it. And part of why I love it is because I do a deep dive into a technique where we really look at a lot of nuance. I sort of take you through all the different variations and iterations of things that I tried to kind of help stimulate your own creativity. So and it's not always 19 videos, but I try to videotape while I'm creating, and so I get a lot of footage, and then I have to sort through all of it and whittle it down into the most relevant information, and then to a reasonable length as well. So anyway, that's a little bit about my technique classes. So the update, I'm hoping to get it done within the next few days. Just FYI, it's coming. Don't worry, it is. I promise, coming. Okay, so another announcement. The trimmer, the new Stampin' Up! Trimmer is going live as of tomorrow, November 1st, so that's super exciting. And also the Christmas Time is Here suite, which demonstrators have been able to pre-order this whole month, is now available to customers starting November 1st. And I did include a flyer of that or some details in my newsletter. And then next Thursday is the week that I always showcase the Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle projects, so mine and then two others, and the featured product suite is the Christmas Time is Here suite. So you'll get to see some projects in process and made with that suite next week. So that's going to be really fun. So coming down the pike. Okay, just a few more things. So anybody a fan of the Magnolia Lane designer paper? Raise your hand, leave a comment. virtually raise your hand and let me know. So the Magnolia Lane designer paper, Stampin' Up! Offered sort of a bulk buy opportunity for demonstrators where you could get 20 sheets instead of 12 and of only 10 each of 2 designs instead of the variety pack of 2 each of 6 designs. And because, you know, people, they want to offer that to demonstrators because it makes it a little bit easier for us to demonstrate something because you have more of the same kind of paper. Well, that is now being made available to customers. So if you love that paper, it's a great deal and a great opportunity. And if you like to make cards and not have so much variation in your designer paper, that's a great product. So you can just look up the Magnolia Lane designer paper when you go on the online store and you should be able to find that pretty easily. It's a 20 pack instead of 12 pieces, it's 20 pieces. Okay, last but not least, I want to talk just a few minutes about an event that I have coming up. I've announced it in my newsletter this past few weeks. I'm calling it my Creative Bliss Conference. Okay, so I have a vision for this event. This will be my first annual. I've got it planned for the end of February. Now, it's going to be a magical event. Magical in part because I've added my own day onto February. You guys laugh at me. Because anybody who read my newsletter, a couple people have pointed it out to me. I said February 28th, 29th, and 30th. I mean, you know, it's a leap year, so we have the 29th, but I just magically added an extra day. That's actually March 1st. But more on sort of the magical nature of this event. So I'm calling it a Creative Bliss event because I've crafted for many years, and I don't know about you guys, but when I create something, whether it's something clean and simple or something a little bit more complicated, and I just get so excited, and there are different levels of excitement when I'm creating things. So when I think of creative bliss, it doesn't happen that often, but it does happen, and it's just this amazing feeling. It's happened in classes where I've seen people creating things that are just kind of over the top. My cotton candy technique class, my October class, I totally feel that way about the projects that I've created for that. It's just, you know, I just get super excited. So one of my missions in my goal for what I do in my business, what I offer to you as customers, is to help you find your own inspiration, to find your own creative bliss. So my intent for this event in February is that it will be a multi-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and techniques will be a main focus of the event, and maybe trying lots of techniques. Now, my vision is that this will be so amazing, this event, that you will want to travel from far away to come and play with me and some of my team members and friends, customers, demonstrators, anybody who wants to come. It's going to be a blast. So I'm also trying to gauge interest in this event. And so if you get my newsletter, please click on the link in the newsletter. Let me know that you're interested. That will let me know. And I will have a link in the Facebook description on this video, so you can comment, click on the link, and let me know that you're interested in the event. I just want to make sure I have enough people that really want to work towards finding their creative bliss and join me at this event. So obviously I need to have a certain number of people in order to make it happen. So let me know. And I can't guarantee that you're going to find your creative bliss, but I'm going to do my darndest to create the setting and the situation and the opportunities for you to create and play and find that special thing that you get super excited about. So like with the technique classes, I show something and then I offer some variations, and then I know people are going away and they're thinking of other ways to do it. So anyway, just super fun and exciting. So I hope you will find interest in that. I'll be talking about it more over the coming weeks and months, and we'll have more details and registration information and all that sort of good stuff. So definitely let me know. Okay, so let's move along to our projects for the day. Because it's Halloween, I wanted to share with you, I had my Creative Escape event this past weekend. The main focus of that is our Christmas card stamp stack and that sort of thing. It's not quite as creative blissy, but it's very fun also because we have a little creative playtime in the mix, which is a little taste of creative bliss. So anyway, there were little goodies and giveaways. So this was one of the things that I gave to my in-person customers. It was a little bit difficult to try to mail this because I knew it would get squished, but it has candy inside, and you know, it's all about the candy. If you look at that, I have a blog post on it. I know it's backwards, but there's Wink of Stella on there. So it's just a cute little stamp set. And just on a tip, this stamp is part of a set of 3 that are actually on one stamp. But it comes with dies that coordinate, that cut out all 3. But I used my, what is it called? The Timeless Label Punch. It's the orange part here. And it perfectly cut out that shape, and then I put a circle around the back side, which is also dry embossed with the subtle embossing folder. So anyway, and the start of this is made with a toilet paper roll cut small, so pretty cool. What else can I tell you? It's the Monster Bash designer paper, so everything was kind of Halloween-y themed since it was just this past weekend. And then I made little nameplates for everybody. Christy forgot her nameplate, so I got to show it to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had one to show. And I put them together with a little bracket on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. Just so they stand up and they don't kind of slip open. Sometimes how our cards do. So anyway, those were a couple of little goodies. And of course, we did our Christmas card stamp stack. So I do have a Halloween card today, but then I'm using the press and seal. You guys might be familiar with it. Comment if you have tried the press and seal technique. I know I've seen people do it in a variety of ways. I've played around with it a bunch and come up with some fun designs that I'm going to show you now. Yay! So I see a few people joining in. I see someone, Line and Claudia, welcome. Good to see you here. Okay, I'm going to face the camera down now. We're going to get to doing the project. So I have never used press and seal in my kitchen, you know, for actual kitchen stuff, but I saw this technique and so I was like, I gotta try this. Okay, it's a little far away. Okay, just noticing I have my tripod set up in a little bit different way, so excuse you see the table there, it's supposed to be hidden. Okay, that's okay, I know you guys don't really care. All right, so for today's project, excuse me, I should look away when I have to cough. We're using the Itty Bitty Grinning stamp set, and I just have one sentiment that I'm using. Actually, I'm using the Trick or Treat and then the Happy Birthday, but this is a two stamp, you know, there's a lot of stamps in here. How about we put it that way? A lot of stamps, all kinds of sentiments, so super fun. And then my rectangle stitched framelits are kind of the star of the show because I'm using those quite a bit. And of course the press and seal. So I've given myself a little bit of a jump start on this project just so that we're not here all night long. So I've taken a piece of paper. Now when I first tried this technique, I used a piece of cardstock, but this is just plain old printer paper. I'll tell you why I'm using printer paper instead. It's kind of an important piece. And I've taken, eventually, I'm going to be cutting with my rectangle die, and I want to know where exactly I'm going to be cutting. And so that's going to help me to decide where I'm going to place my shapes. Because if you guys know anything about press and seal, have people commented? Have anybody done press and seal? Anybody? Okay, I can't look at comments because now I'm doing this. Okay, so I'm using my cat because I think of cats as a very Halloween-y thing. And I've laid them out. And as you can see on mine, can you see the pencil line in the back there? So that's pencil line is where my die, my rectangle die, is going to cut out the front of my card. So I don't really want to have little tiny edges showing because then it makes it really difficult at one step of the way to get it all where I want it. So you'll understand better when I show you the next thing. So of course I'm using my lovely cat punch. So I'm going to start with bringing in a piece of press and seal. So this is already a piece that's cut. And I'm just going to place it right down. Now I have these all laid out carefully and strategically. So obviously you would want to do that yourself. And you can use any shape you really want. Most of the time I've seen this done with flowers. Do I have it backwards? Maybe I have it backwards, upside down. And flowers are a little bit more forgiving. And you don't have to worry quite as much about the placement. But I really wanted to do cats, so we're doing cats. and some other things, which you will see shortly. Okay, so I'm just going to let that fuse together. And then I'm going to trim off the back side. Now, I have found that my trimmer doesn't really like to cut through the press and seal. Otherwise, I would be doing that. Now, this piece of paper, these are different scissors, is 5.5 by 4.25. So it's basically a card front. So while I'm doing this and thinking about it, I'm just going to mention something that's completely unrelated. Cats are much better than flowers. I like that comment, Sally. I saw a picture of you once where you had a cat with you, so I guess you like cats. That makes sense. Okay, so it's strategically planned to be 5.5 by 4.25, and you will, again, understand as we go. So, again, taking an opportunity to say something that's completely unrelated. The other day, somebody, and occasionally this happens, people will go to my Facebook page and they actually recommend me, like they do a recommendation or a testimonial to my page and to my business and little treat. And I never think to say anything or invite people or ask people to do it. So guess what? I'm inviting you now. Go to my Facebook page, and it's probably good for like the algorithm to get recommendations. So anyway, that's my offer, suggestion, request, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now I've trimmed off the edges. Now, some of the magic begins. I love magic, especially creating a whole new day of a month, like February 30th. Okay, so I'm going to take my piece here. Again, this is just regular old scrap paper, printer paper, and I love to recycle and reuse. As you guys probably know, if you've ever gotten something from me in the mail, I'm always reusing mailers because, you know, why waste? So I'm reusing my scrap paper. Okay, so I'm using, in the end, I'm going to be using these 3 shapes, these 3 sizes of dies on all the different projects I'm showing. So for this one, I'm actually using my smallest one, and I'm really hoping this cuts out exactly as I want. Because the first time I did this, the first few times actually, it took me a while to figure out it wasn't working. I did it with cardstock as my base instead of printer paper. And guess what? My die wouldn't cut through all the layers because I had the press and seal, I had the cats, and I had cardstock. So this should be perfect. And I did actually try it. But I'm going to go back through it a second time just to make sure that it actually cuts. I'm going to look on the back side. It looks like it cut through for the most part. Take this out of the way. Okay. So now, you'll take that die off. Excuse me. Still have some cough from my little bug a few weeks ago. Doesn't seem to want to go away. Okay, so there we go. We got our 2 pieces. Now these are going to become really cool cards. I can't wait to show you. So much fun. Okay, so next I'm going to pull in my black dimensionals, and I'm going to actually remove this from the paper, from the printer paper, if I can find an end. That's the hard part. Okay, and then there's light. Seems helpful. It's fused. You can do it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so finding the cardstock to find your release point is better than trying to pull up the press and seal. Okay. I've just taken off my paper. And then I'm going to take my dimensionals and put them all over the back side. So as I said, I have a few projects to show you, but I've done all the these kinds of steps ahead of time on the other ones. Just gonna, so you're not watching me do all this boring kind of stuff. And here's where a little bit of challenge comes. So now I need my little itty bitty dimensionals. And then guess what? I have to make them even smaller for some of the spots. So like up here and the tail. And that's about as small as you're going to want it to be. So see all my cuts up here? I've made a bunch of these. So I'm going to cut these mini dimensionals in half because I need them to even be smaller. And I'm going to take the pointy side, the sort of rounded side, and put it towards the rounded edge of the tail. Do the opposite on this one. Hopefully, since these are black and it's going to be against black cardstock, hopefully won't show. So I promise you, the effect is worth it, or at least it is to me. I hope you guys think so. It takes a little bit of time to get this together. And I'll use every part and piece of my dimensionals. You can see I've cut off the edges. I'm going to show you where I used those in just a minute. And then my hair is getting in the way. You guys can't see it, but I got a lot of hair. And it is getting in the way of me seeing what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. And I like to have a generous amount of dimensionals on there because you want those little cats to stay popped up. Okay, that's going to do it. Now, I'm not going to do this one on camera, but I'm going to show you an example of one I finished with one that looks like this. So I haven't seen any comments. Anybody's done press and seal. I'm looking up a little bit. Cats. Oh, there. Thank you, Sally. What would I do without you? Don't forget the cat's head at the bottom. Somebody else was going to see that too. Or I'd be like, wait, where did the cat's head go? Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, let's bring the other pieces in. Okay, so I've got a black card base. And I am just going to remove the backings of these. So now you probably can guess that doing this piece is a little bit easier than doing the frame piece, just because it's a little flimsier, but it's all pretty easy and doable. It's just, you know, got to be a little bit more careful with the placement. So when I was trying to figure out the best way to show this, I thought, you know, I like to try to skip steps so you don't have to sit and watch me do what I'm doing now, remove backings of dimensionals, but there really wasn't an easier way to do it, unless I did a lot of it ahead of time. So, almost there. So now I'm going to just center this on my card front, same edge on all sides. That's the goal anyway. And it all stays together beautifully because of the press and seal. Okay, are we ready for the little bit of magic? Hi Karen, hi Linda. Just happened to be looking at the camera right now. Okay, there we go. So now just ever so carefully. Now one thing I have noticed with the press and seal is that it will actually take off a little bit of the cardstock, maybe especially if it's been sitting there for a while, because I had one sitting for a while, another version that I'm going to show you in a second, and when I pulled off the press and seal it was actually pulling away the paper. So word to the wise, just be careful when you're removing it to make sure the paper's not ripping, and you know, if it does, you're just going to have some texture to the paper. So there's always a bright side. Okay, throw my press and seal away. And there's the start to my card. And this is really actually the majority of it. Okay, so now I've taken my large die, so I'm using the three sizes, like I said, and they're the three that are, you know, just below the biggest one. So just to give you an idea. So I've used this one, second biggest one, to cut this shape out, and I've put dimensionals all in the back of this, and you probably guessed this is where I'm using, can you guys see the dimensionals back there? So I used the edges of my, yeah, you probably can see it's all black, right? The whole point, you can't see it, but so I've used the edges of my sheet of dimensionals for the edges of this frame, because obviously I want it to stay up very strong and firmly. So now I'm just going to place it on the front, and it's the same size or maybe a hair bigger than the front, so that you don't have to worry about seeing any of the card base and behind. So there's my basic card, and then I have a sentiment to put on it. So now I'm doing happy birthday on this one because I like to have happy birthday cards around. My original one was a trick or treat, you know, thus Halloween. I'll show you that in just a second. So you guys probably know this trick, but I'm just going to create my own banner. I've done one side already, and I'm just going down the middle with my paper snips, which are my favorite scissors because they're such great detail scissors. Just be really careful, because if you cut yourself, as I say, you will bleed because they're very, very sharp scissors. Okay, and then I'm going to take my happy birthday and just put it down. Where's my here? So there we go. Onto one of my cats. All right. So there's my basic card. Don't think I forgot anything. So pretty straightforward, just floating cats. Oh, Wendy, I'm so glad you like it. And Sally too. I see a few people commenting. That's great. Okay, so you want to see my card that used this outside piece. I got that one over here. My original, very first card that I did with this, I didn't actually do the cutout, and I just did the whole front. Now, it's on a layer of black that's a 4 by 5 1/4, so that's, you want to cover the whole front with your cats. That's that version. And then here's the happy birthday. Oh, I did both of these happy birthday. Okay, there's another one that I did that was trick or treat. Well, that was trick or treat. And then here's the one that I have in process for the outside frame. So you see I've done exactly the same process, put dimensionals in behind those, and they're kind of all floating here and abouts. Did my trick or treat with the same banner. And then on this one, I'm thinking, so this one I used just regular plain cardstock, but I'm going to make another card with that other outside frame, and I thought this textured one with the subtle embossing folder would look really pretty. So what do you guys think? I really like the subtle embossing folder. And then either a cat also done with subtle embossing folder, because I thought the cat might look nice with a little texture, you know, or just the plain old cat. So it'll be basically the same as this with a cat. And this one I think actually should, what do you guys think? Cat on dimensionals? I think so. I'm just going to do it. So then I can finish this card. Where did my dimensionals go though? They're black, so they're hidden somewhere. Ah, there they are. Okay, let's just do this cat so we can finish this card. Need a little one. So it's a little bit harder to, I think, design with the outside edge than it is with the center. And especially with these cats, you know, maybe you now understand why I was sort of careful with my placement. Not only so that I wouldn't have tiny little itty bitty pieces that I had to put dimensionals on, but also so that, well, you know, things like, you know, the top of your cat's head. You know, it's just kind of funny that you got like the little bit of the cat's head at the top. And So the outside edge, you can kind of tell they're cats, but maybe not quite so much. So it's a little bit harder to design with the outside edge, especially with the cats. But I still like it. I think it's cool. I hope you guys do too. So yeah, so there's my final 2 variations of the cat. Okay, now just a couple I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to make anything on them. I'm just going to show you other versions that I did. So one of them is, I got to show you this one because this is the bad one. This is the what not to do. So I did it with dogs, with the dog punch. And with the dog punch, I had cut the piece so that it wasn't the full quarter sheet. It wasn't 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it has that edge and it just doesn't look right. Poor dogs, they just look so sad, don't they? They're all cut off and strange. Anyway, this was an example of the paper ripped when I pulled off the press and seal. So I kind of decided I'm going to abandon this one. These poor floating, chopped up dogs. But so that's maybe what not to do. You want to make your sheet the full size. It goes all the way to the edge. But the inside section that I cut out turned out really cute. So here's the dog version. I love this one. So I did on the blue, happy birthday. And got some hearts in there because there's a heart in that punch as well. Where's that punch? Here's the dog punch. So how many people are dog people and how many people are cat people? Anybody out there want to comment and let me know? I'm a little bit more of a cat person, but, I love puppies. Puppies and kittens. How can you not love them? So there's my dog one. And then last but not least, and actually this might be my favorite one. It was the first one I started playing with. The sentiment I've used from Christmas Rose. This is the stamp set, or actually only half of the stamp set. Where's the other half? There's a big, huge rose. Where is it? It's somewhere around here. This is the Christmas Time is Here set. Let me see if I can find it. Well, you'll just have to visualize and come back and see it next week. So this, I've used May this Christmas fill your heart with warmth and love. How can you go wrong with that? I love that. So this one is done with the ornament punches, the gleaming, whatever they're called, punch pack, those 2 together. I've done projects with those, and I just love how these turned out. Drum roll, please. Oh, you're a dog person. I see a dog person. Oh, you love dogs and cats, Marilyn. Good for you. Okay, so this is my ornament card with the centerpiece. You like other people's cats. I kind of like that too. I sort of prefer other people's cats over having my own. Okay, and then this is what I did with the outside frame for that one. And there's the sentiment that I was pointing out before. So tell me what your favorite is, dogs, cats, or ornaments. Definitely different to do it besides not doing it with the flowers for a change. So there are all my projects. So I'm going to have a post up. Hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be so conflicted because I really need to work on the technique class, but then I also need the blog post up, and I have a club tomorrow. So we'll see what happens, but the post will come up soon, and that will have dimensions and photographs of all the projects. And let's see, I'm seeing people's comments now. Let's see, the ornaments, still likes the cats best. Ornaments, okay, cool. The shiny paper is amazing. I love this paper. I mean, this has the pretty peacock, what is it called? Peacock something. Anyway, it has the foil on it, the plain foil, and then it also has the specialty paper, foil paper. So, I mean, it's just stunning paper. How can you go wrong? So, hi everyone again. So just quick reminders of the special sales things for you to remember. Announcements: the Stamp and Storage sale, 20% off, and that goes through next week, November 4th. But don't delay. There'll be a link in the Facebook description and the YouTube description as well. Let's see what else. The trimmer is coming available tomorrow. The Christmas Time is Here suite is coming available tomorrow. Go to my newsletter or let me know if you're interested in that my Creative Bliss Magical Conference coming up in February/March. And of course the Magnolia Lane DSP Designer Series paper in those bulk packs is available also. So I will be back next Thursday, and what is it? What is the date next Thursday? Oh, I got it wrong last week, but I think it's the 4th. I think it's the 4th. No, next Thursday. It would be the 7th. It would be the 7th. I think I got that right. So November 7th. The week after that, I will actually be out of town. So I'm going to have to skip that Thursday. I'm going to be at the Stampin' Up! Onstage event in Atlanta. I'm actually doing a presentation at an event for a fellow demonstrator there. It'll be a small sort of event, but I've got a very fun little wow project. I'm so excited. I found my creative bliss a couple weeks ago when I was playing around with what kind of wow thing I could do for this event. So I am planning to share that on my website when after I've demonstrated it at this event. So you'll get to see it too. So thanks so much for joining today. I hope you'll come back next Thursday and comment and recommend me and share and go create. Most important. And I'll see you back next week. Thanks again, everybody. Bye. And happy Halloween. Can't forget that. Again, bye.